the sound of that tractor means it's time for us to get to work. Welcome to the Give Us the Dirt podcast powered by Hoopaugh Grading Company. My name is Brandon Lindsay, and I am your host. So we've had some new friends in town today, and we've had the chance to hang out with them here at the HGC Academy in Charlotte, North Carolina. We've toured the facilities. We've had some great dialogue and collaboration about how we can work together to make the construction industry better. Now we've got him in the studio with us today to give us the dirt, or in this case, the sand. Gulfstream Construction was founded in Charleston in 1963 and has honored a tradition of responsibility and excellence as they provided top quality site and infrastructure construction services across the coastal regions of South Carolina and Georgia. This family-owned business does a little bit of everything, but specializes in civil site and infrastructure construction. Over the last 59 years, they've put one of the most impressive, and I'll even say one of the most diverse portfolios of successful projects together that I've ever seen. On the mic today to give us the dirt, we have Mark Hylton, president of Gulfstream Construction. Mark, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
And so we've had a few hours to hang out today and tour the academy. I've got to learn a little bit about your story, but we do something. I'm about to learn something new right now because we do something a little unique here on the podcast. Instead of asking you to introduce yourself to our listeners, we ask you to tell us, how would your wife introduce you? If she were sitting in your seat today and I asked her to introduce you, what would she say?
It might depend on the day. We've got 3 young kids, so but hopefully she would say that that I'm a hard worker, that I'm a family man, that God's first, and that very mission driven, I suppose.
All great things. Well, yeah, you should be happy if she says all that.
I hope she says that. She might say some other things. Maybe we edit that part. I'm not sure.
She's a Carolina girl too, right?
She's a North Carolina girl. Yes, she is.
Oh, good. Well, before we get into Gulfstream, I want to hear a little bit about your story. You know, I know a lot about the company. I know, and we're going to talk about that. But I want to hear from you. Where did you grow up, and how did you get into the construction business?
Okay, so I grew up also in North Carolina, a little town called Eden, North Carolina, Rockingham County, and in a rural area. So growing up there, was exposed to a lot of different things. Tractors and different industry was there, and sort of was prone towards math and science. It was time to go to college, and so I chose NC State.
Go Pack.
Go Wolfpack, absolutely. And started out in mechanical engineering, graduated that, and took a job with a design firm, and was kind of in the office working in a cubicle, and we had a lot of windows. We were in what was then undeveloped section of Raleigh by the airport, RDU Airport, which was not near the size it is today. And they started a site project across the street from us. So each day I'd come in and kind of watch this going on, and it looked like a lot of fun. You know, I'd see the meetings, and of course I had no idea what was really involved. But watching that happen, decided that I would go back and get my civil engineering degree. So I got my master's in civil engineering also from NC State. Worked with the local heavy highway contractor there for a few years, and eventually made my way to Charleston in 2000.
So, was your family in the construction business, or?
No, they were not. No, I'm the first in this industry.
That's great. You just knew what you were good at. You knew what you enjoyed doing, and you found a path that put you in that position.
Yeah, I like I said, I like building things, and I really like people, and that's really what's different.
That's cool. Yeah, we have a lot of folks, especially in this industry. You hear it too. You know, people that get into this industry because their grandfather did and their father did, and it's just, it was a natural progression. You kind of changed the course there a little bit and got into something new.
Yeah, it's fun, and I have a good time and really love it.
When did you join Gulfstream?
I came in 2000.
Okay. So tell me about what you role there, and then tell me about your career at Gulfstream and how you progressed through the company.
Okay, so when I came to Gulfstream in 2000, I was a project manager. We were a lot smaller company at that time. Only had a few crews, and the who would become the president and myself, kind of the 2 project managers. And we, I got to learn a lot from him, the way about the culture of the business, and how they did business, and that turned into me becoming vice president and ultimately president a few years ago.
How long did it take you to do that? So
I was a project manager for I don't remember exactly 8 or 9 years, and then transitioned to VP, and went through that for 10 or so years. So I had a lot of time to really learn from my predecessor and sort of get my feet under me.
That's incredible. I mean, that's a pretty fast track there.
Yeah, I've been extremely blessed, and the market has been strong in Charleston, and just surrounded by great people, including my wife, by the way.
Shout out to the wife.
Shout
You
out
got
to
to
the
do
wife.
that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So tell me about the company. You mentioned the people. What is Gulfstream's a family-owned business, right?
We're a family-owned business, a wholly owned subsidiary of the Beach Company, who's a family business developer in the Southeast, and honestly could not work for better people. It's been a great company and just surrounded by a tremendous amount of talent, and it's fun to go to work each day.
I mean, what a great thing to be able to say.
It's a blessing. I'm telling you, it's not me. It's a people.
It's always the people, and your great leaders always give it back to them too. So it sounds like a great company. I mentioned in the beginning that you guys have one of the most diverse and portfolios that I've ever seen, and I was looking through the website at some of the projects that you guys have been a part of over the years. And it's everything. I'm talking aviation, infrastructure, transportation, commercial, healthcare, industrial, office, retail, security, you name it. You guys have done it. And then it's not just the types of projects, it's what you do on those projects, the scope of your services, everything from the utilities, water, sewer, storm, roads, mass and fine grading, concrete, paving. You guys do it all. It's a one-stop shop.
Yeah, we do. Thank you. We try to be diverse for multiple reasons, but a lot of that really is driven by our customers. We try to do what's best for the project and for the customer. So if our go-to customers who use us want to do something different, we're in. It's just how can we help? Whether that's grading, whether that's acting as a general type contractor, where whatever that requires, maybe it's not even our scope, we're in. And going through the years and in a close alliance with the engineers in our area. Most of our project managers, actually all of them, are engineers. Some are PEs. So we try to form real tight alliances with the local engineering companies. And with that, and with the expansion and robustness of the market, you naturally end up doing a lot of these things.
Yeah, those alliances and those relationships. There's nowhere in the world where those are more important than Charleston, South Carolina.
That's right. Yeah, I tell people a lot of times, I'm in the construction business, but really I'm in the relationship business.
You are. You're in the relationship business, but it's those relationships, and I love the fact that you talk about how your good clients, the ones that take care of you, the ones that you get that repeat business, wherever they want to go, you'll go.
That's right.
You'll take care of them.
Absolutely. They take care of us.
Yeah. So knowing that you guys have all this experience and you dabble in all these different sectors of the industry, what's your sweet spot? What's the work that you really enjoy doing? The ones that you can be the most successful in?
It's hard to say. We do a lot of different things. I guess the ones that really get me excited are the ones that are particularly difficult or that require a lot of thought, a lot of planning, a lot of management. We sort of thrive on those type projects. I'm all for building whatever, but the ones that really get me excited personally have challenges like that you really have to think your way through and look at people's strengths and apply those in the right spots. Mm-hmm. That's fun to see people succeed. And
I'm sure you have your fair share of challenges where you're
at. Absolutely.
Well, that's good. That's cool that you like those kinds of projects because that is exactly when you look at what separates someone in our space, you from your competitors in that market. It's that value add that you bring with your management team, your creativity, and your ability to solve problems.
Yes, we really try to be a partner to our customers, and we try to really separate ourselves by being the highest standard of professionalism, first and foremost, integrity, honesty. Sometimes that costs us. Sometimes it costs us, financially. Sometimes it costs us the job. I can sleep with that. I'm good with that. But it's hard to sometimes look in the mirror and be honest, right? And I think that's important each day that me personally, that I do that, and also that our company does that. Let's look at what can we do better. And I'm really encouraged by, I told you earlier from walking around your facility that just the amount of thought and what you guys have done here is amazing, and it's very encouraging.
Well, so you guys are doing some great things too, and you mentioned the word partner, and I know that word gets thrown around a lot, but you guys have established some very strong partnerships over the years, and no matter how good you are, you can't do it by yourself. You've got to have strong partners to be successful in this business. How have you done that? How have you built these partnerships, and what would you consider a good partnership? What does that look like to you?
So I think a good partnership hinges on trust. That you really have to be able to trust that your partner, as we're talking, will do the right thing and will do what's in your best interest. Sometimes that might mean that it cost us money, Gulfstream, we have to pay a subcontractor more, or vice versa. They realize that if they get in a bind that they may have to pay more. But if you have that trust where you can be honest and talk about what the real challenges are, most times you can work through those things. So that's really key. Being a good partner means a lot of things, but really, I tell our guys internally, even when someone from accounting calls and needs something, consider that your customer, and then give that person what they need and confirm they've got what they need. And then the person in accounting, I would say thank you. And let's close the loop. Let's treat each other with respect and professionalism. And it's not something that you just say. You have to do it, and it's the culture, and that's really what's important.
That you're exactly right. People think of partnerships and customer service from maybe that project manager or that estimator to the client. But that's every aspect of what you do. It's the laborer out on the job site, it's the accounting office, it's whoever's answering the phone. It's all part of that client experience. And to be able to offer that at every level of the company, and I think you hit the nail on the head. It's good partnerships require trust, transparency, respect, and professionalism. And you have that, and then you realize the other thing too. If you've got a good partner, they know that they don't have to win every time.
Right.
Sometimes it's okay to let somebody else win one.
Yeah, exactly.
And sometimes we have to lose one. Sometimes we have to take a hit for the better, for the partnership.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. I was looking through the website, and you guys have an incredible safety record. You've received award after award for your safety performance. But one thing I really thought was cool, Mark, was as I'm going through the safety page on the website, I don't know the last time you've been to it, but you going through it, and they're usually filled with statistics and numbers and all this. There was only one number that was on your website, and that was 0. Because you could tell that's the only number that matters to you guys when it comes to safety.
Right. Yeah, and like anyone, we have challenges. What we do is dangerous work, and you really have to be aware. We spend a lot of time training. We're not immune to safety problems. I think if people are honest, no one's immune to that. So you just try to plan your work and design it to where you can avoid the common problem, so to speak. And it is, there's the culture is such that people understand that doing unsafe things at Gulfstream is not acceptable. If people do unsafe things, they're not welcome here. And
that, I imagine you can't enforce that yourself, from the office, like that's got to be enforced by the team members.
Yes, it goes back to culture. It's I was, I guess, thinking of culture. It's an unwritten code of law almost, and you either get it or you don't. And it's our job to make sure that our employees understand the culture, know what's acceptable and what's not, and look out for the new guy on the job. Most of the accidents happen the first couple of days on the job. You were telling me about your technique earlier, which is brilliant with the different color hard hat, and that's a great idea. And someone to shadow them. We're not doing that currently, but I may steal your idea.
Hey, you take it. We stole it from somebody else. So.
Yeah, so great idea. But the culture is really. So then you don't have to be the police, the safety police. It's your whole company. You've got, all of a sudden, in our case, almost 300 police men and women out there.
You're right. If you're trying to manage your safety program with 4 or 5 safety professionals, you're going to lose.
Yeah, it's like the game. Was it the pop a mole or whatever? You hit one here and it pops up over here. Doesn't work.
It doesn't work. Yeah. Everybody's got to be a safety ambassador.
Yes,
that's the only way it's going to work. Well, Charleston. So you're 2 of your primary markets, Charleston and Savannah, and every contractor out there would love to be doing work in those 2 areas.
Careful what you wish for.
And that's where I'm going, because I've heard it all the time. Oh, it must be great to be down in Charleston, Savannah, but it's not all palmetto trees and pina coladas down there, is it?
No, it's not. Working there is difficult. Our soil conditions are very difficult. Water, where I grew up was rock. We had water in Charleston. And a lot of it, we're in some cases, for example, on the battery project downtown, we're literally holding back the Atlantic Ocean. So but not only surface water or water like that, but groundwater, which fluctuates tidally. So that's the biggest challenge, the soil conditions and how you handle that. But Charleston's a very strong market, very, very tight-knit market, very close. And Savannah, we've only been there a couple of years, but it's the same way. And, we're the new man down there, but it's very evident that there are very close, tight-knit relationships. And, I respect that. We're not trying to go to change anything about that. We want to be a good member in a responsible part of that society, construction and otherwise, and really raise the bar in our industry.
That's the only way to get into those markets or those communities, is that you got to be accepted by the people that are there. You got to be embraced by them, because they can run you out.
Absolutely.
If you're not. And you guys, I want to talk about that. You brought that up, but you've done a great job of providing opportunities for people to build a career in construction in these different communities. But you're also investing back into these communities. You guys do a lot in the nonprofit space. You do a lot to invest back in the communities. Talk to us a little bit about that, because I know that's something you're extremely passionate about. I
am. Yeah. I mean, not to get, but that's a responsibility that we have. It's something that we should do as individuals and as corporations. And we get a lot of people asking us to donate to things, and so we have to sort of I guess guide those in direction and run it through sort of the lens about what are our core values and what are we here for. Sure, we will sponsor the someone's son or daughter's playing softball, fine, but really, like, where are you putting the dollars, and where can you get the most bang for the buck, right? And so we take that very seriously, and we really feel like it's our duty, in fact, to be responsible with that.
I do too. And it's important for us to invest back in the communities in which we work and live. And so much more today than ever before. It used to be nobody asked about that. In fact, our industry, we were so bad about it. We didn't want to be out there. We didn't want anybody to know that we were there. We kind of wanted to be off the radar and just not be seen and go out and do our thing. But now we have clients that say, what are you guys doing? That's the first question they leave with. It's not, what are your capabilities? It's not, how quick can you get my job done? We've got clients that will literally come in and start with, tell us about your sustainability efforts. Tell us about what you're doing in this community.
Right, yeah.
It's become more important. And even to the young workers that we're trying to recruit right now, they want to know.
Yeah, very important to the younger generation, and rightfully so, I believe.
Yeah.
Whether we like it, whether or not, and whether we believe in certain things or not, societal issues end up, having an impact on business. And with the demographics, younger folks make decisions about where they buy, where they spend their money based on how environmentally responsible, how socially responsible. I didn't know about ESG 2 years ago. I've learned a lot about it. Regardless of where you stand politically, the living on the coast, I can tell you 100% for sure the ocean is rising. I see it. We used to have really good flood tides a couple of times a year. Spring and fall, we have them pretty much throughout the year. Ask anyone who lives downtown Charleston. When it rains now, it floods. The water can't get out. It's a real issue, and we have a responsibility to deal with it, long term. And so we try to make sure what we're doing is responsible that way. Our equipment that we purchase needs to be Tier 6 or better. In fact, it's required to be in some cases. The way that we conduct business, it's just even things down as small as having a recycling bin, just minor things we can do just to change our behaviors to leave a positive impact on our world. Really,
yeah, things we never thought about 20 years ago.
No, not at all.
So you talked about when we were spending some time together earlier, you talked a lot about culture. You've even mentioned it a couple times during the podcast already. You guys are doing some things now to really take control of that culture. It's been there. You're just really starting to hone in on it. And tell me about what you're doing there on the culture side and why that's even important to you.
Yeah, well, it may be the most important. Good people are really hard to find and keep. And, it's people need to understand what you're about, and they need to really understand that, and to be a relevant part of the organization, they need to really embrace it. So you got to really have a clear vision about what's important to the company, and our core values haven't changed. My predecessor did a wonderful job, and the beach company has done a wonderful job of setting the expectations of honesty, integrity, those kind of things. But what we really try to do at Gulfstream is let's take that and turn it into a culture, so that when we are estimating a project, when we have a conflict on a job, when someone acts in a certain way, that it's known what the rules are and how what we expect, and we expect excellence. And if you're not acting that way, then that in a strange way kind of drives the organization. It drives your beliefs, and it's our code. Some of the ways we're doing that are not unique to Gulfstream at all, but more team oriented kind of. Well, for example, most projects, certainly the larger projects, will involve project managers in estimating, and vice versa. We'll have things where we look back on projects that didn't go as well as we liked and talk about lessons learned. We'll bring the superintendents in to help with the bid process, maybe go visit subcontractors on the job, so that everyone's sort of tied into the project. If we win it, people know what we're about, what we're trying to accomplish, and it's not the traditional, hand it over the wall and take it and run with it kind of approach. It's more I know why we chose to do this, and this is what we're doing, and what if we tried it this way? And also, things, even silly things like, just taking time out to celebrate successes.
Yeah.
And to talk about things that didn't go as well. Just be honest. Talk about it. It's not a curtain we need to hide behind. It's out there. It's us. It's our corporation, our company.
Yeah, and it's funny thinking because I grew up in this business. You've been in it for a long time, but people outside of this industry, they hear us say things like that and talk about, teamwork, communication, just celebrating victories. Like those are not radical concepts, right? They've been around forever, but they have not been part of our industry.
Yeah, we as an industry, and I'm looking at myself again, and I'm trying to change this. We have not, in my opinion, done a very good job of getting our story out there. So I'm really appreciative of things like this, the podcast, where we have a chance to talk about it. Mm. I mean, construction is a extremely rewarding career. If you love people and you love building things, this is for you. And I'm regardless of your background, really, it's fun. Are there challenges? Absolutely. Are there challenges in any other job? Absolutely. So for someone who's willing to work and take initiative, there are amazing opportunities in construction. In any given day in my job, I'm talking from anyone, from someone who's just started with us to CEOs of large corporations. I mean, where else can you do that?
Right.
It's an amazing business, and the people are. There's a lot of good things to celebrate about construction. We just haven't done a good job, or I haven't at least, of doing that. And I think we need to get our story out there and let kids know who are thinking about getting into businesses. This can be a lot of fun and very rewarding. You just got to be ready to work. I don't think that's too much to ask.
No, it's not. But the reward's there. Right. And it's not this dirty job that everyone thinks it is. You guys are operating with some of the best technology and equipment that there is available.
Yeah, you've seen it, you've got it. The new equipment is unbelievable. Yeah. Bluetooth, air conditioning. You don't want to get out of it. It's very comfortable.
Yeah. That's better than some of the cars that we have. So, and let me ask you this. You've been a part of hundreds of projects over your career there at Gulfstream. Is there one that stands out that you're just really proud of and say, man, that was awesome?
I think one that really stands out and that we needed very badly at the time because we just got into recession was the Highway 17 widening in Mount Pleasant. It was ended up being around $65 million, which was bigger than anything we had done at that time, and kept basically 7 of our crews busy for 2 years. That was clutch, and it was a team effort, and that's what was really exciting about that. We had several estimators, we had all these project managers who didn't have work to do were in with estimating. It was really a team effort, and so that was very satisfying. Very tough job. Not much money on the job. It was that time during the recession, and some a lot of technically challenging things, and just those sort of challenges that come with doing with construction, but very rewarding in the end, and that the public got to benefit immediately from it. If you haven't been to Mount Pleasant in Charleston. It was 2 lanes, north and south, and it was very congested. It would take, 30 minutes to an hour at least to get from North Mount Pleasant to the bridge to go downtown. And all of a sudden we had, 50% more capacity overnight, it seems like. So that was very rewarding, very challenging also.
Yeah. Yeah, I love how I ask you to name the one that stands out to you the most, and it's not the one that made the most money.
No.
It's the one that brought your team together. It's the one that showed you what you were capable of doing, and the one that was embraced probably the most by the community there. So
yeah, 100%. It was very visible, and it was, it was the hitting the grand slam in the bottom of the 9th or something, right?
I love that. Yeah, that's great. Well, all right, so this is the part where we ask you to give us the dirt a little bit. Some young listeners out there that are listening to you right now that would love to have the career path that you've had. According to Mark, what is the secret to success in the construction industry?
There really is no secret. I think the right mix for that is to do the right thing all the time. If you do the right thing all the time, and that can be applied so many ways. What I'm talking about is when you first get when you first come to work with ABC Construction, someone asks you to do something, do that job to the best of your ability. If you do that every day, you'll end up on top.
Great advice. Great advice. Speaking of advice there, let's say there's this kid, a kid's getting ready to come out of high school, or you've got a young engineer getting ready to graduate from NC State. What advice would you give them 20 plus years later? What advice would you give them? What advice do you wish someone had given you when you started?
Well, I'd say don't sweat the small stuff, right? I spend a lot of time, worrying about things I probably shouldn't have been worried about as much, and I suppose some of that it just comes with experience, but you really have to think about, like, how does this fit your personal core value? How does it fit the company's core value, your mission, and does it matter 5 years from now? If it doesn't matter 5 years from now and it fits all your be yourself and do what's right, and it'll work out. You're going to have conflict. You're going to go through these things. It's not the end of the world. It's not unique to you. Just work your way through it. Do the right thing, and it'll work out.
Great advice, but such hard advice for somebody young to take. That's the last thing you want to hear is just be patient. It's going to come. It's going to happen. Like, all of us were in that situation, and I love your point there too. Not everything is a big deal.
Yeah.
But when you're 20 years old, it is.
Yeah. Yeah, and we've got a great team at Gulfstream, as you guys do as well. And you can't really, even though I may tell someone that's not a big deal, you don't really understand it till you understand it. And even though that I could give someone that advice, you really have to live it.
You do.
But just
I had to live it.
Yeah,
I was the same way.
Yeah, you just keep swinging.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that comes with time. It comes with experience. But you do get there eventually, and you realize, okay, I know what Mark was telling me now.
Yeah, funny story, but it took me like 15 years to figure out don't send emails late at night. Right? You can draft it and have it sitting there, but maybe even put the clock on where it won't let you send emails between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. or something. But let it sit for a minute. Sleep, get up, think about it. Is that what you really meant to say?
Read it again, and then delete it.
Yeah, and then delete it. That's right. And then think about another way to say it. It's a little more, maybe a little less controversial.
That's some great advice too.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, tell us. So, what's next for Gulfstream? What can we look for?
Oh boy, we have been so blessed, in just in our market and beyond, and Savannah has been a new venture for us, and very close-knit market like Charleston, and we are started to tear down that barrier a little bit, and just having some success there. That's an area that I think a lot of growth. Naturally Charleston we feel like will continue to grow. We have been able to really forge even closer relationships through the past, since the recession. We all kind of gained a different perspective. I think those of us who went through the recession, and through the good and the bad, you learn a lot of things, and it, those relationships have really come to fruition since. We also have started Gulfstream Environmental, and really that is going back to the sustainability and those sorts of things. We're looking at a variety of things. We have done in our portfolio already environmental cleanup, and inevitably, if you work downtown Charleston, you're going to encounter some different things: contaminated groundwater, contaminated soils, and those sorts of things. Of course, stormwater retention, detentions has been a big issue. Mm-hmm. But also looking beyond that a little into things like we've done 2 facilities that are basically a waste diversion, one in Berkeley County, one in North Charleston, where they're taking municipal waste and taking out recyclable components of that and diverting that to a different stream. Excuse me. And so that's been a part of it. And most recently, we are looking at building anaerobic digesters,
What is that?
Yeah, too many letters, right? Yeah, that's what I said. But it's actually capturing methane gas to turn into renewable natural gas. Working with hog farmers in North Carolina, but we kind of learned about it through other venues, as particularly with dairy cows. The manure that they produce in the process produces a natural, once refined, a natural gas that is indistinguishable from carbon fuel. So, those are opportunities that we see coming long term. That, these things are going to happen. It's just a matter of whether or not we take an active part in doing it, right? And
that is incredible and so interesting. So you guys, I love the diversification of that too. It's not all businesses that directly help you in the construction space. And you guys are branching off into other areas that you see being impactful in your community. Yeah,
we see long-term opportunity there. It's probably, we believe, as recession-proof as recession-proof can be, right? And it's the right thing.
All right, we're going to finish up, and I'm going to call Brian and tell him we need to buy an anaerobic digester.
There you go.
That'll blow his mind. He'll say, you have been smoking. So, hey, Lauren, this has been incredible. Thank you so much for just taking time to come up here to talk to us. I'm inspired by what you guys are doing down there. You have a incredible reputation in that market. But one of the things I've enjoyed getting to see from you is just the authenticity and your character and your sense of purpose for what you're doing and why you're doing it. And if I'm one of your team members and I'm part of the Gulfstream construction team, I'm very confident that we have the right leader in place to get us to where we want to go and to help us achieve our goals. So hats off to you for what you're doing. I'm sure all of your team members that are listening to this will be extremely proud.
Well, thank you. And I feel the same about you and your organization. Just an amazing job you guys are doing. And I'll say that the success of Gulfstream isn't a direct correlation of me. It's our people. And our guys in the field are top notch. I can't say enough about them. Our guys in the office, just super proud to be part of the team. And, I'm standing on the shoulders of giants, I feel like. So.
Well, that's great. Yeah, it is. It's all about the people, but it starts with the leadership. So I know you won't do it, but you got to take some credit. So, Mark, thank you so much for spending some time with us and giving us the dirt.
Yeah, thank you. My honor.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Give Us the Dirt. Our podcast is powered by Hoopaugh Grading Company in Charlotte, North Carolina, and produced by Well Run Media and Marketing. Visit our website at giveusthedirtpodcast.com and subscribe to this podcast on Apple and Google so you never miss an episode.